Hi everyone, welcome to eLearnChat, where we hope you always learn something new. Today we've got with us again Tim Loudermilk, and he's going to be showing us his tool Elearis, which should be a lot of fun. It's a pretty cool tool, and he's going to give us some of the ins and outs of it and give us a general overview of how it works and how you could benefit from it. So, hi Tim, how are you?
Hi, great Rick, how are you doing? Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, great. No, we've had a lot of emails asking, can we see it? Can we see it? We're interested. This is cool. So it's always good to get feedback and people want to see something, and especially when it's fairly new and they haven't heard about it. So this is even better. So it's a good chance to show people what the tool does. And we've seen some of the YouTube demos, so we have an idea, and it looks pretty cool. It actually, if you let your imagination go, it can do quite a few interesting things. So I'm seeing some fun stuff that we were thinking of doing with it already. But yeah, so anytime if you want to dive into the demo or you want to talk a little bit about it.
Super. I think maybe I'll just say a couple things. Is that this is the result of the last really 3 years of work by our team, by a fairly small team, but a team very focused on making a solution for subject matter experts and faculty. People that were not necessarily instructional designers. Well, there's some cool ways that instructional designers are actually using it. So I'm very excited about that. Let me turn the notifications off here, guys.
And for the record, you can use.
It's very exciting to see what's happening with this. So I'll jump into.
And you said it can be, and we can target this for instructional designers, like you said, faculty, staff, and universities. It's corporate, it's academic, it's whichever way you want to look at it.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to just jump you right into to Elearis and show you something that's been built. So I wasn't going to make you watch me log on and mistype my login like I often do. So I'm just jumping you right into really the view for the author creator of a course. And this is a course on Bauhaus built by Jimena Garcia, who's our lead UX. And you can see I have something interesting up here. I have all these little colorful icons. These colorful icons.
We're not seeing your screen right now. We're seeing you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were seeing the screen. Let me see. Start sharing. Thank you.
There we go.
So now you're seeing my screen. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. So I've launched you into a course. This is a course on Bauhaus. This was one of our favorites because there's lots of interesting things to put in the course. But you see something up here across the top. There's all these very colorful icons. The first thing that you would do inside a course is really begin to outline your blueprint for the course. And we happen to have chosen the name modules for that. So you can select this with plus sign and add a module. And a module is really a blank area that you can create, and I'll just name it. And I create a module, and that module, of course, has nothing in it at the first time. So there's literally nothing that's there. And let's back out here. So I've added a new module here that's at the bottom, and you can see it's test 1 or test 2, and it's an empty module. But instead of making you watch me drag things into the empty module, I'd like to just lead you through the different types of learning cards. We call each learning object that you're going to put into Elearis a learning card. So after you've created a module, you can add text of any different sort, and you can do that by a very full functioning text editor that can add links and videos and things like that. We have a lot of people that use that. You can add images to the platform from any source and any size. You can add videos from a very wide variety of platforms, including things like Kaltura video, which is very popular, YouTube, all the different video types that you think. You can add audios to the platform in the form of a card. You can add animations built with tools like Maya or your own HTML5 animations. You can add documents that you want to deliver to your students. Those documents could be Word documents or PowerPoint documents or any sorts that you want to carry along with the course so they can actually consume them in whatever application they were built in. You can add presentations, which is a great way to integrate PowerPoint because we can do some things like track your progress through the PowerPoint. You can add PowerPoint or Keynote from Apple. You can add questions and assessments, and I'll go into that a little deeper in a moment. Here is our magical one. We call it a bundle. You can add any HTML5 bundle built with all of the traditional authoring tools like Lectora Publisher that, of course, I created, that I was the lead designer on, but also Storyline and the Adobe tools. So you can actually add anything you want in a bundle, and we create that bundle as a single object inside the Elearis platform and allow you to manage that in terms of the sequence of where it's going to be, tracking it back to the LMS, and of course publishing it to lots of different platforms. So it's a cool feature. Then we have multi-card. And multi-card is really a single page or single card that you can put lots of different types of objects on, and I'll show you one of those too. Then we have my favorite. It's called Continuous Card. In one flowing continuous card, whether it's on your screen or on your iPad, we can allow you to add any type of learning object that you see in any traditional course. So there can be mixed text, mixed video, and a long single flowing experience. You can also add live meetings with Zoom that we use often, where you've had a live Zoom session, and then after that Zoom session is complete, you have the option of storing it as a learning object in the platform. So combination teaching in class plus you're teaching some students in a live fashion, you can embed that so students can come back and view it otherwise. You also can link into the platform a group discussion and social tagging with tools like Yellow Dig. So we're excited about that, and a growing opportunity, I think, there. Now, once you've done this and you've dragged them all in, the last few things I'm going to show you is you have an ability to preview the course, and I won't do that yet. You have the ability to publish that course, whether you're publishing the course to directly to an integrated learning management system, which is basically all of them. So if you're a Canvas user, which increasing number of universities are using, you can publish right to Canvas. You can publish to tools like Saba or D2L, and get a really seamless embedded in the LMS publish component. You can also publish as you could publish to the iOS store or to the Google Play store when you would create a package that actually you go download the Elearis app, and you can experience your course in that mobile device. So that's all the different ways. You can also do it the old-fashioned way. You can download what you've built and have those files to place anywhere, including just up on a website if you really wanted to. And the last icon I'm going to show you is kind of one of our secret powers, and it's called Curator. Curator is a back-end content management system that allows you to save every one of these learning objects, but not only save it as part of a course, save it individually tagged by a long host of the ways you may want to track this information. So you can do a custom tagging system that allows you to do it by author, by time, by creation, by courses it's in, by subject matter, by a really extensive way of tagging items. You can also collaborate.
So you've got an integrated LCMS into this.
That's exactly right. There's an integrated LCMS into it. And you could also that's where you can also go to collaborate and share a single learning object, a lesson or a single module, or an entire course. And you can share it either in editable formats, so the people you're sharing with it could edit it, or you can share it in an uneditable format, which means that if I make a change to the master, they would get my changes on an ongoing basis. So it's perfect to create a first master course in 3 sessions, and those 3 sessions may be taught by 3 different people. That allows them to add and personalize theirs without affecting the master course.
Great.
So that's I will show you Curator in a couple minutes. Now the cool thing about this is you can see it's pretty interesting and visual, but these are all objects. So this is a text object, and if I want to take a look at the text object, I just hit the edit button. I got that there by dragging it in, and you see I have a full text editor here that includes, by the way, all the scientific formula displays that are correct, and I can scroll through really. This is a graphic put in a text with the text object. So it's very simple to use. You can create it here, or you can bring it in from someplace else. You can even write HTML5 in that text editor if you like. For symbols or for pictures, you can support basically any file type or image type or web link to an image. And of course, you can go to Curator, the backend content management system, to get something someone shared with you to drag in. So as I step through this, just think our attempt here was to support every type of media object that you would consider using in an online or mobile course. So within the video, you can upload a file, you can just or a different video type. You can put an embedded YouTube video, which means that you don't lose control. You play the video from inside the student view, and you do not lose control to go on to 15 other videos on YouTube. In an educational environment, that's pretty important. We fully support Vimeo. Our favorite is that we think that that Elearis makes Kaltura just such an easier to use platform. It's such a powerful platform, and we love working with the folks at Kaltura, but we make it a lot easier for someone to put Kaltura video in and maintain it. And then, of course, Curator is where you've stored everything. So within this, again, I won't go into every learning card, but audios are self-explanatory. Animations are very self-explanatory in HTML5 and documents. But when I go over to assessments, I will show you that, because we have embedded in the Elearis platform the ability to build a very wide variety of question types. And that's very exciting. So, of course, you can build true-false. It's very easy. You can build multiple choice. Very easy. Multiple response questions, matching questions, Likert questions, category questions where you match things to categories, sequencing where you'd have to order the right sequence of events, essays where you would be typing your essay and submitting it back to your professor or trainer through the platform. Image annotation, which is pretty neat. You could either give the student an image or have them upload an image and then annotate it. Particularly useful for medical education, because you can put something up and then call out different items on the assessment. Drag and drop types of questions, and then data table questions, which is mostly used in scientific applications. So you can build all of these. You can also bring in assessments if you've used them, let's say in the old QTI format. We've integrated with Learnosity, so you can bring those questions into the platform. And of course, you can export the data from the system, not only to the LMS, but to platforms like Learnosity if you're using their analytics capability. We think that's a great tool, by the way. So that's kind of a quick overview. The powerful one is by dragging an HTML5 course in, if you will, or lesson in, and wrapping it. You can leverage all of the assets that you've used in prior tools by just dragging them into the platform. My favorite part of this, I'm going to just kind of drag this out of the way, is that once I've got it in here, I simply have full drag and drop capability of the object from one to the other, if I get it correctly there. So I can drag it into any order. I can drag modules into other orders. I can drag things between modules. And I have a very compelling, easy way to build a custom course for an audience. That's sort of, that's it. Now I'm going to jump back here and I'm going to preview the course. When you preview the course, right now, I've defaulted my preview to preview on an iPad. Now, these designs in here are all totally customizable. We do kind of a gray one so we don't get in the way of some of the content we're displaying. But this is something you have the choice of putting a custom CSS in, and that will control the design of your entire course. So very much like a few folks have called us similar to Squarespace, in that you can build a website, but then at the very end completely change the design and everything's still intact. And that's really the same design here. So I could view it on the iPad. I could view it on any of the other devices. I can view it as it would look in Canvas or in Sakai or whatever LMS you've actually integrated to. So it's a simple scrolling design here of the Bauhaus course. I'm taking a look at what was built for Bauhaus, and I know my screen's not quite large enough to show you all this on the platform. But it's an exciting thing for us to do. When I go to publish it, I can publish all the content, or I can override the current version. I'd probably better not do that for all the people we're working with. And as I mentioned before, you can go download it into HTML SCORM or tin can format, and then use it wherever you want to deploy it. So it's really a very straightforward platform. What's happening next with the Elearis platform is I'm super excited about it. In the continuous card, which I'm going to show you one, and actually I should show you one instead of rebuild one, I can add in a scrolling format all the different file types that you saw before, but on a single flowing page. And it's pretty neat that we can do this. Then after you publish it, I'm just going to go grab this and take a look at this one. I can preview this continuous card. The continuous card has lots of different objects on it. I'll just give it a second to load. So this is a long flowing card, similar to, I'd say, a WordPress kind of delivery in terms of the format of this learning object. You'll also be able to do left and right scrolling if that's what you like, because people are really used to holding their iPad and scrolling left and right. So we're enabling that. But you can actually view this on any device that you're connected with, and we're real excited about that. Let me get out of here though, because go back. So if I want to see it on a different device, by the way, I just changed the preview to see it on a different device. Take me just a second to do that, but it's rendering for just the web, I think, in this case. I hit that one. So you can see how it looks on the web. I can close that preview. I can go back to preview and see how it looks on your iPad the other way. I can see how it looks on an iPhone. It's really a pretty cool way to very quickly build totally responsive content in a very easy to use interface. So I think you can all visualize that if you have a bunch of learning assets, you have pictures, you have PDFs, you can drag them in and create a comprehensive, cohesive, good student experience with very, very little training.
And what's nice is the reusability of everything because it's in an LCMS. That's really cool too.
Right. So I'll launch the LCMS, and sorry, I didn't need to save it. I need to save it too. I'm just going to go to Curator. Curator is the LCMS behind this, so every object here can be saved in the platform. It's making me log on. That's okay. And inside of Curator, you can add content directly to Curator or through the Elearis course interface. I can add my own folders. I can also go see every video in my platform, every animation in my platform. It's searchable, every document. So it really liberates your content. If I had to go back to courses I built 5 years ago to find all the original content, I think I'd struggle to do that. It'd be on some hard drive somewhere.
Yep.
So here, it's all in one place. It's in the cloud, and it's really easy to find it. When I do find something, I think I've got a video here. When I find a video, welcome to Viceland, I can go share this with anyone on the Curator platform. I can share it in editable format or uneditable is what I said. So it's really a neat way to allow groups to collaborate. So I'm going to jump back to the course for a moment. So as I look through this, I really don't know of an easier tool to use. The next thing that's happening for us, which we'll be releasing in sometime over the next month, is inside of Continuous Card. We're going to give you a lot more options in terms of changing headlines and changing fonts and doing a really good job of rapid learning development in a single card format.
Now, watching this, my imagination's starting to go wild. Can you, for example, let's say it's in the LCMS, you've got a graphic. Let's say a logo. Something changes. You change a logo. Would that change then through all of the cards that you've built?
You have the choice to make that happen or not. So nice. if you configured that to allow changes to flow through in non-editable format, then it would change and share. It would change back in the course, but also for all the people you've shared that with. So yes, it's a great way.
Yep. Okay.
Change your logo or change your color scheme. And the neat part is, since these are all really these are all individual standing learning objects in the course. If I wanted to do a completely different design of the course, I can go do a completely different design of the course. And I could take a look at the overview of the course and literally put a different CSS in and give the course a completely fresh look for next year.
And yet your content stays the same.
Exactly. So here you see things like enrollment information and syllabus and a calendar. I always forget to say this. You can schedule certain content or by object or by chapter to only be available during certain times. So if you want to lead your students to a really guided experience, you can do that. I can go into design here and upload any CSS or select a course design. This is the course design for American Council on Education that they're using for their library. I can go in and look at different types of designs. You can add a multitude of these that include color schemes and things like that. So you put a custom CSS in and you've changed the entire design and navigation, if you want to do that, of your course or lesson. So I'm very excited about that. It's a fun thing to do. I can look at metrics on how many learning objects and modules are there, or I can just go back to my favorite view, which is the timeline that says, okay, just show me what I'm doing here. So that's kind of a quick overview. It's really easy to use. Every object here is tracked in the content management system. You can turn that off, by the way, if you don't want every object to be tracked in the content management system. It's totally configurable. But it's a really great way to put things like podcasts, white papers, videos, a quick assessment of your audience out. So we've got a couple things. The one I mentioned is the page builder that's coming out that's got a lot more features in building a continuous page. And second, for all the instructional designers here, they're saying, okay, this is a straight through from screen 1 or card 1 to card 50. Actually, we'll be introducing the conditional card sometime over the next 4 to 6 weeks that allows you to put a condition on any learning object and then lead a student to a different path. The perfect example is you have some students that may need remedial work, some that want deeper work in one subject area, or some that are ready to go on to advanced work. You'll be able to do that inside of Elearis. And the real challenge there was to make it easy to actually build, not complicated. So we hope we've got that, but I'm looking forward to maybe getting to show that to you in the future.
That sounds good. How does a user get a view of the whole course? For example, as they're building, if they need to go to different pages or different,
Sure.
Yeah, how do they navigate to that?
You can use any. You can look at any object on the page, but I can also just go to the preview and preview to whatever platform. Right now, I'm previewing the entire course on an iPad. Okay. So you see the navigation it shows is here. I can scroll through it sequentially. I can jump to any section of it to take a look at it and see the student's view of what's happening right inside the platform. Mm-hmm. So, as I mentioned before, you can actually see it in Sakai or Canvas, or we, as part of implementing Elearis, we will integrate Elearis with your LMS so that it flows right through from the author to the LMS without any technical difficulty. And that's another difference. None of the other platforms actually do the level of depth in integrating with your learning management system. So, if you're a Canvas user, for example, the content that you're publishing with Elearis, you have the option of doing an LTI link and keeping it all separate, or you have the option of publishing deeply, and it actually pushes completely and embeds all the content in the LMS and uses their navigation. So the goal there was to give you the widest variety of options in publishing. But I love this part because it proves that we're really responsive. I can just keep changing it and showing you what we're doing, and you can continue to look at it on different platforms. So exciting.
Now, when you have multiple users or multiple developers, let's say you have, whether they're professors or instructional designers,
yep.
Can you lock objects so that one doesn't accidentally override the other person?
Right now in the platform, you cannot lock an individual object. But what you can do is only share that component with them through Curator, where you divide the work amongst as many people as you have by section, and then bring them all back together by sharing.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually handled.
Okay, so for multi-user, it's easy for them to kind of figure out where they are and kind of move across things, or like you said, assign things to different people.
Right. And I think that the neat part about doing it that way is they can go out and when it comes back to the primary owner, they can actually review it and choose to include it or not. So there's a bit of an editorial control over if you have multiple authors.
Sure. So what motivated you to create this particular tool?
I was showing my prior tool, Lectora, to educators and subject matter experts, and I thought it was the most simple thing in the world to use. I thought it is a great tool. I'm still very proud of the team and the product itself. But for the user that's the subject matter expert, or the faculty member that's not a technologist or a programmer or has what I'll call flash development skills, we needed to provide a tool for them that actually, on your program the last time we spoke, one of your users said democratized learning. I think that's exactly why we did this. But I was influenced. I started with a bit of a different team. I started with all technologists on Lectora. Mm-hmm. This time I started with more educators and instructional designers on the team than programmers. So I listened to other people, especially educators, on how to put this together. So that's what really moved me. That, and frankly, it wasn't a tool that was really responsive, natively responsive, and I really wanted to be certain that we created one.
Right. So with this, as long as you have access to a web browser, you can create.
That's exactly right. If you have access to a web browser, you can create. You can bring any type of files to it from any source possible. Mm-hmm. And when we talked about PowerPoint integration, a lot of tools out there, built by friends of mine, I'll say, in the industry, require you to go in and edit things like PowerPoints to make them SCORM compliant or to make them trackable. Right. We decided to take a different route. You just drag the PowerPoint in. All we track for that PowerPoint is that you viewed it or not. And we actually launched the native application to let you see that object in PowerPoint. So you can do Keynote. No one's supporting Keynote in their published content except us. But frankly, there's a world of Apple users out there that we really want to support. Mm-hmm. And that allows us to do that, taking a very open architecture to using any type of learning object that you have.
No, that's great. I like it. I like the simplicity of it, and yet I could see where there's quite a bit of power too.
I think that when I have folks look at it, you can get a good idea of what it's like quickly. And I totally used Apple's idea from HyperCard many years ago of let's present cards you can do lots of things on. So in the future, I've got a design for a music card for music programs where you can actually interact and have a student write music as part of the program or experience it. We've got a lot of ideas about where this is going to go. Our roadmap's we've got a couple years ahead of us in development before we start running out of ideas. Frankly, I'm very, very excited that it's getting out to a lot of people now, because for me, their feedback is going to be critical as to the direction we take this. I have a very open philosophy in saying, okay, we created something we think is pretty cool, but everybody out there is going to tell me how it could be better.
Right.
And that's great.
Yeah, those pesky users, right? But that's true. You know, it's funny. No matter how smart we think we are, somebody comes up with ideas, and you go, "Where'd they get that?" And sometimes they're really great ideas. So that's how products get even better.
Yeah, it is. It is how products get even better. It's a very modern platform. That's very web centric. It's definitely it's available on a subscription model, but we do a back end integration of the content management system. We can actually put Elearis and Curator behind your firewall in your own environment. So companies that secure applications, we're happy to do that with you. We're trying to be as open and flexible as possible with the folks that are using it.
Okay, Tim, do you want to turn your camera back on, or actually switch back to you?
Absolutely. Yep. Back here.
So for people interested, this is, well, let's if they want to get a hold of you to find out more, go to the website. Is that a good place? Or
absolutely, and they can email me personally at tloudermilk@curatorsolutions.com. I'm happy to do that. Happy to talk to and welcome. This is my favorite thing to do. I guess my favorite thing to do is to build this. My second favorite thing to do is to actually talk to people about it. So please. I can be reached at my email address, or you can find me by going to curatorsolutions.com and just clicking connect, and we'll come back to you as quickly as we can. We are going to be actively exhibiting at conferences coming up. I know that Scott Sloan and you are going to the conference in London next week, I think. So we're really just getting started in all that. We have a new marketing team of very excited, energetic people that I think are ready to get out and start showing what we built. So
that sounds fun. And we'll have all that information below so that they can get a hold of you, and also have the website and everything. So that'll be good. And I'm sure Scott will be talking to lots of people in London, and they're from all over the world there. But London's, I think, the biggest e-learning show in the world right now. It's about 10,000 people, mostly corporate. There are some non-corporate, but it's going to be a pretty good place to talk to folks. So. And not that Scott's not a talker, so I think he'll do fine. He'll have a good time there. So this is great. Yeah.
So look for Scott Sloan there. He's going to be hanging around with Rick, I think.
We'll be hanging around together. Yeah. So that should be fun. And what else? This is good. All of what you're showing is actually available right now.
Yes, it's all available right now.
Good. That's good. It's pretty good. I like it. I like the approach, and I was also noticing it's pretty quick and responsive as you were doing things. And are you connected via the internet right now, or is it local to you?
Right now, you're actually on the production Elearis server that sits on Amazon Web Services. So you're on the live system.
Okay, so it is Amazon. So you have unlimited space.
Right, unlimited space. So
that's great.
You're able to store as much as you want in the platform, and it, of course, has all the benefits of the multi-generations of AWS backup, so if something goes wrong. You can literally, inside the platform, something I didn't show, is that you can track all the changes to any course in sequence. We keep a very long log of all the changes you made. So if something went different, you can go back and look at your log and say, hey, nice. I made this change in the date.
And for those of you who develop, you'll know how important that is, because a lot of tools don't give you any backups, and you're dead. We know, we've been there. So, you don't know how many times you have to go. You've done 10 different versions of it, all in the span of 2-3 weeks. And they go, we like that version from about 10 days ago. Mm-hmm. Eyes open wide. And most of the time, it's really hard to get back to that. So you actually have that ability to get back to previous version. That's nice.
You do it at any time within this. I can choose to save a single learning object or a module or the entire course to Curator at any snapshot and just put a copy there and it resides there. It could be the entire navigatable or buildable course, or it could be a single object. So it's up to you. We were big on flexibility because we knew we were building a product that we hoped was used by a lot more people than traditional authoring tools.
That's great. And one bit of advice we can offer, and this is for all you folks who do development out there, whether you're an instructional designer or actually a full-blown developer, people take shortcuts. And when you have an LCMS, that's not always a good idea because the shortcut winds up being 400 repetitions of the same thing. When you have an LCMS, you don't need to do that. You can have one iteration of something and reuse it 1,000 times. And if you do things right, it will save you so much time and money. And that's where people who haven't worked with an LCMS usually wind up saying, how do you do this? It's not hard. It's actually pretty easy. You just have to stop a bit. Think about it. And when you design it correctly, you will have reusable content. And that will be a major time and money saver as you proceed to develop more and more content. So it's one of those selling points that just isn't really focused on enough by the developers. Once they get into it, if they have the right mindset, boy, it's a huge difference. And so we're hoping that people kind of pay attention to that part of it. Then you'll take really true advantage of what these tools can do, and it'll be just a lot of fun. Well, Tim, I really appreciate you coming back on. And let's see. Is Tim here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. I missed you. I was looking at the wrong side of my screen. Part of the screen slightly behind me. I'm going, where'd he go? So we're looking forward to seeing more of the tool and looking to hear more about it. Like you said, this is a fairly newer tool. So as it gets out there, I think it's only going to get better and better and better. So much success to you on this, and sounds like you're well on your way to having a hit. So we're looking forward to seeing this grow and just do better and better. So thank you for sharing with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time. It's always a pleasure. You have an incredible show. We're big fans. So.
Oh, thank you. Always fun to have people on, and especially people like you who are doing things that can make a difference for so many. And that's what excites all of us when we see tools that are new, emerging, and can make a difference. So good luck on that, and I'll be catching a plane in about 4 or 6 hours to London. My first time there, so I'm looking forward to it. So have a good one, and again, we'll have all of the information on Tim and Curator Solutions right below. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks. Actually, we'll see you later. There's another show later on. I'm not part of that one, but Harold will be there, and we've got Lesley on that one, and I think Adam Weisblatt. Yeah, so we have other people coming. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.